Hey everyone, and welcome back to the ATD Movie Channel. I'm Tony, and today I'll be reviewing All the Money in the World, the incredible true story of the Paul Getty kidnapping and his billionaire grandfather that refused to pay the ransom. Let's jump right into it. The senior Getty, J. Paul, was the richest man on the planet in the 1970s, and the film touches on how he earned his money. Getty's grandson, Paul, was in Rome when he is suddenly kidnapped and held for ransom. And much to the world's surprise, J. Paul Getty, the senior, refuses to pay the ransom. I'll touch on a few more plot points in the review, but I promise I won't be spoiling anything here. Before I really begin, I'll spend a quick minute discussing the behind-the-scenes controversy that cast a shadow over this film. Originally, director Ridley Scott cast Kevin Spacey to play the part of J. Paul Getty. Without getting into too many details, Spacey has since been exiled from Hollywood after some really disturbing behavior came to light. And with just 7 weeks before the release of the film, Ridley Scott recast Christopher Plummer in the role, and he reshot all of the Kevin Spacey scenes. Rumor has it, all the actors involved were more than willing to return and reshoot the scenes. I have never, and probably will never again, hear of such a feat in Hollywood. What Ridley Scott and company pulled off will go down in the history books of Hollywood. Let me tell you what I liked about the movie. The story is incredible. It's a surreal series of events that are so crazy, you'll be thinking there's no way this actually happened. But I came home after the screening and was pleasantly surprised to read how closely the movie depicted the real-life events. And while I compliment the story, I think it's critical to mention the editing and the pacing of the film. We're jumping all over the place in this movie. From the grandson Paul's perspective, to his mother's struggle to come up with the money, to J. Paul Getty's bizarre spending habits, and we're never lost as an audience or feel like a particular scene is out of place. And I think that's really important in a film like this, especially considering the recasting of Plummer. The film does drag a little bit in the third act, and I'll get into that later, but overall, this was a well-crafted thriller that certainly left me wondering how it was going to end. The cast is such a solid aspect of the film, and let me tell you that Christopher Plummer delivers a magnificent, damn near sinister performance as J. Paul Getty. But Plummer balances the ruthless billionaire persona with the heart of gold grandfather we all know and love. That Jekyll and Hyde aspect of his performance not only kept me engaged, it made me sympathize with the character as well. And it added to the suspense of whether or not he was going to pay the ransom to release his grandson. Plummer has just been nominated for a Golden Globe for his performance in this film, and the behind-the-scenes drama makes that nomination that much more impressive. He is amazing in this movie. Michelle Williams is actually the headliner in this film, and I just adore her. She plays Getty's daughter-in-law, the kidnapped grandson's mother. Williams has to play the character so carefully. The character is scared and is going through something most of us could never imagine. But instead of playing her like the weak soul that she should be, whose son is held captive, she has to save face and be the family's fearless leader. She has to show that she's confident she's going to get her son back, and that the kidnappers have met their match. Even if most of the communication with the kidnappers is via phone, Williams does a magnificent job of portraying strength. She does well in every single movie that she stars in. I even mentioned it in my review of The Greatest Showman, but it was nice to see her be the star of the film for once and carry a film. Mark Wahlberg gives a great performance as the man tasked with finding the kidnapped grandson. This is a sort of atypical tough guy role for Wahlberg, but his character has one of the best arcs in the film. And he too plays two sides of the same coin. Ruthless in his pursuit of the kidnappers, and delicate in how he treats the Michelle Williams character as she processes what's happening. And finally, Charlie Plummer does really good work as the kidnapped grandson, Paul Getty. I usually have 3 criteria when I'm reviewing a film: the story, the characters, and the spectacle. And by spectacle, I mean all the artistic and technical aspects of the film, like production design, costume, and more. This movie is a period piece and totally nails it. I mean everything from the aforementioned production design and costumes to the location and even the sound design. All of which help to paint this terrific canvas thought up by director Ridley Scott. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but I do want to mention again that the third act is a bit long and could have been cleaned up a little bit. And the only other dislike would be a spoiler, so I'll be careful on how I describe it, but let's just say there are two events that take place at the exact same time towards the end of the film, and I was really unable to suspend my disbelief. If you've seen the movie, hit me up on Twitter at ATDmovie and let me know if you know what I'm talking about. In conclusion, I can confidently say that Ridley Scott, his cast, and crew pulled it off. They did something I've never heard of happening in Hollywood, and turned in a solid thriller that have people searching to find out how much of the film really happened, just as I did when I got home from the theater. So, have you seen All the Money in the World? Have you ever been to the Getty Museum in Los Angeles? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And also subscribe to the channel to be notified of content uploaded regularly. You can find other movie reviews on the channel as well. Thanks for watching my review for All the Money in the World. I'll talk to you soon.